It is with the heaviest of hearts that I come to you to remember my sister, Myrna Folse, or Nanny Myrna to the children, who succumbed to a lengthy illness on February 18, 2025. Myrna was the second of 6 children and was born on February 21, 1958. There was Mike, Myrna, me, Amy, Eleanor, and Leonard. Growing up with Myrna was always fun. She had a dry but funny sense of humor, much like my dad. I guess that's where she got it.
Myrna Folse.
Eugene.
Her under-the-breath humor was legendary. Myrna was born in Thibodaux at Thibodaux Hospital, but we shortly packed the wagon and headed for Houma because Dad thought it was too long a drive from Thibodaux to Houma, where he worked. We somehow landed on what I consider the now famous Austin Drive in Mulberry subdivision, which was considered by all standards to be the Mayberry of the day. Myrna became one of 16 people on that street to work in the TV, film, or music industry. This should be a topic of conversation because I am sure that most of my family did not even realize this. By all accounts, Myrna was very shy.
Myrna, thanks for joining us.
Stop it.
Well, okay,
Martin.
we're on live television, Myrna. Thanks for joining us, Myrna.
Now that came from my mom's Leonard family side. Now you know how Leonard got his name. Myrna never was seeking the camera or the limelight, which made my search of past pictures and video a big surprise when I came upon old film or videos that I took where Myrna actually came out of her shell. I found an old interview where Myrna actually told me on tape that St. Francis Day Camp was the means by which she learned to communicate and come out of her shell.
Myrna, what did day camp mean to you?
Real hard question. Well, it meant a lot because I was very shy when I went into it, and it kind of brought me out a little bit. And I loved working with the kids.
She later became the girls' director of the camp and served in that role from 1981 to 1985.
Altogether with the Boys and Girls Camp, we have 450 around.
What kind of activities will y'all do this summer?
We have bowling, skating, swimming. We're going to the water slide. We also have volleyball, baseball, different sports activities, arts and crafts.
Just this week, Judge Randy Bethencourt, who served for years as the boys' director, sent me and my family a token of memory from Myrna. It's a rosary that was made with the colors of day camp. And it's the maroon, the blue, and the green. And of course, everyone who attended St. Francis Day Camp knows exactly what that means. And by no coincidence, 2 directors who later on their own served the Blessed Mother by kind acts. As a child growing up, Myrna always knew her place, and Myrna stood firmly in her place. If she believed in a certain way, then by God, that was going to be her way. Myrna was always in control of her own destiny, and she was always the one in charge of the apparatus for board games. She led the charge whether it was the game of jacks, croquet, or Monopoly. She owned the games, she owned the jacks, and she owned the croquet set. She was the banker when we played Monopoly, and found out years later that Mike and I often use a double-taped yardstick to fetch large amounts of money when Myrna was not watching. However, on one occasion, later, as the years went by, she caught us, and in the interrogation, Dad informed her that we had been doing that all along. Myrna was not happy. The next time we played, she made me and Mike sit apart and way across the table out of reach of the money tray. Myrna loved her family to the core. She had no children, so everybody else's children were her children. She adored her parents, her grandparents, her siblings, her nieces, nephews, great-nieces, great-nephews. She loved her aunts, uncles, in-laws, and anyone who was associated with her. Her friends. She had so many friends. How y'all doing?
Happy retirement!
You're in trouble now. I'm glad you didn't catch you with a cupcake. I didn't need a cupcake.
Happy last day to you. Happy last day to you. Happy last day, dear Myrna. Happy last day to you.
Myrna was always looking for that next opportunity, also to hold one of those precious children. When Sister Bertha, our aunt, and Myrna were at the same gathering, your chance of holding anyone's child was 0%. And as a matter of fact, in my video, which I will now present to you, an old 8mm film will show that Myrna loved to hold babies even when she was 4. You can see her reaching out to Mom on this old film to hold Amy when Amy was 1. This is proof that Myrna's desire to hold and nurture babies was innate. Myrna also put her heart into Christmas gifts and took the time to place orders on what the kids actually wanted or needed. As siblings, we are convinced now that Myrna was on the board of directors at Amazon. In years past, she and my crew always got together during special times to put together gifts for me. And some of the classic gifts I got, they took old logos and made them into blankets, and that was certainly very special to me. Myrna was really good at design and marketing. This came from my mom's genetics. I guess that's why Myrna taught marketing and business classes at South Terrebonne for so many years. She spent 33 years in teaching at Oaklawn and South Terrebonne until she retired and worked for HTV as the archives manager. Many of the past videos you see in my interviews are because Myrna transferred those from the many early formats of tape onto a digital realm. And I bet each and every one of you that Myrna used this important job to erase any photos or videos that she was in. But sometimes she let me tape her or film her, and other times she did not. And I'm so glad that I kept the times that she let me tape her stashed separately. Those were photos, film, and videos on this presentation.
So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
Say, yay!
I want him to say my name.
Say it loud, John. And it's not unique in our family. Some in our family just don't like always to be photographed. But while she was at South Terrebonne High School, she made her students get on camera and produce marketing spots in conjunction with HTV so they could learn about marketing and getting the confidence to do presentations. As a matter of fact, one of the CCU nurses that treated Myrna when she was close to the inn at Terrebonne General Medical Center told me that she was a student of Myrna and that Myrna made them bake cookies and then sell them for profits to help the class projects. Business 101. When Myrna came join us at HTV, like I said, she took over the archive tape room, which had thousands of shows sitting on the shelves. Tape by tape, show by show, she transferred these old shows into the digital realm. To this day, when I need an old show or clip, we just look in Myrna's logbook and there it is. She was also so close to my crew at HTV, and I appreciate the love they showed to Myrna. The Bayou Time shows were special. Saints on the Bayou shows where she could sit with my mom, dad, Aunt Miriam, Francis, Donna, and others, her Uncle Jerry, Aunt Miriam, and anybody who would come in from the family. Myrna loved those times. She also enjoyed hanging out with the crew during Christmas excursions.
I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
It was on one of those Christmas excursions that we rented a limo bus. And going back, the first two records that Myrna and I bought together in the mall one day were played back to back on that limo bus ride. And of course, I captured that moment for all time when Myrna started singing her favorite song, bar none, Bye Bye American Pie by Don McLean.
Did you ever fall in love in the United States? Not in love. Over here, it's a lie that tells you so. I believe in rock and roll and music. Sing it over my soul. And can you teach me how to dance real slow?
Followed by Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. Myrna also enjoyed fishing and fished many times on the back deck of my home. Myrna loved it when her line would go down and the fish was on.
Myrna, you got one? What you got, Myrna? Bring it in, Myrna. There it is. Ooh, that's a nice one. Myrna got a drum.
A drum?
Drum. Here, Myrna. Got your puppy drum.
Those trips to Thibodeau were priceless, and all are still sketched in our minds. Whenever we gathered, Myrna loved to converse with the cousins in her own shy way. Whenever the opportunity came around, there came the one-line zingers. Those Grand Isle trips with Uncle Francis and his family, and all the cousins, and the sleepovers with Claire at the Richard houses. I could name a lot more that was so special to Myrna. It was Mama and Papa Leonard's house, and also right down the road at Mama and Papa Folse's house, that Myrna took a love for gardening. Everybody in the entire family, both sides, loved to garden. She loved helping both my papas in the garden, and later she would always visit Dad and I when we had a big garden. In between that time in Austin Drive, she helped Dad with his garden right on the side of the house. Myrna's last present had to do with gardening, and it came right before my dad's death. She gave Dad 2 small melitol plants, which he had planted in an old wagon, waiting to be planted in the large garden at my house. One of his last requests to me was, take care of the melitol. The melitol that year were draped with visqueen and equipped with 4 heaters. There was no way I was going to let my guard down on that plant before it produced melitol. Myrna was so proud when she gave Dad that small little plant, and then that vine produced quite a bit of melitol for Mom to cook on Thanksgiving Day. And although I grew it, nurtured it, fertilized it, placed heaters on it, and sang to it, Myrna always reminded me that it was her plant. And you know what? It was.
I don't know how to do video.
What you think of your melitol plant, Myrna?
I think it's great. I love the melitol.
You know, watch them zoom in on some of the melitol. All sorted from Myrna's melitol she gave to Daddy.
Yeah,
Pretty nice, huh?
pretty nice.
Growing away.
Myrna played the clarinet in the bands at St. Francis and Vanderbilt and made many friends along the way. Myrna was cloaked with friends from her class of '76 and from teaching for 33 years. I would often have guests come in at HTV, and sometimes I would go to Myrna's office to introduce them. And Myrna and the guests would say, I've been knowing Myrna, I've been knowing so-and-so for years. They already knew each other. That's from 33 years of teaching. On several occasions, I brought high-powered people, and Myrna had a chance to meet them. Governors, lieutenant governors, senators, congressmen, representatives, parish presidents. She was not impressed. Politics wasn't her thing. However, if I brought a person of music to see Myrna, then I had something. I took Myrna backstage one time to a Clint Black concert, and she got to meet Clint Black. And you would have thought I gave her the moon. And I think my siblings would agree that Myrna's love for music was second to none. There are so many things that I could say about Myrna, and there's so many things that I'm sure you could add about Myrna. We just don't have enough time. In closing, we are absolutely going to miss our sister. I know you who are watching will miss your friend, your aunt, your daughter. Whatever the title she is to you, you will miss her. The last words that Myrna heard us tell her was, let's pray the rosary. And then she took that long, deep, beautiful breath. How appropriate for a woman who spent so much time making rosaries and handing out at no cost to anyone would pass when she heard the words, let's pray the rosary. The Blessed Mother was there and was happy to take Myrna up to her heavenly perch in heaven. And like a reporter brother would do, I did ask her a few hours earlier if she had seen Dad. And she whispered, yes. That should give us all solace knowing that all of our loved ones are very near. As a matter of fact, they're just a prayer or a rosary away. Myrna, rest in peace. Hey, Catherine.
Say hi, Uncle Pookie. Say hi, Uncle Pookie. Everybody's eating but you. You want something to eat too? Who's that?
Hey.
Who's that?
Hey.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.